to a YouTube video. It's been a little while since I have recorded a yin yoga practice. This practice specifically is for one of those practices where you don't feel you have enough time to fit in yin. So I've just taken a break here at Infuse Health and I'm going to share this next 30 minutes with you. This practice will probably be about 20 or 25 minutes and it's a really great one if by chance what you do through your week is sit in chairs a lot, or you use devices, phones, or drive a lot, or possibly under a lot of stress or tension. As many of you know, I work very specifically with the nervous system and the teachings from the polyvagal theory. Combining that with the Be Here method in my book, which is a method for presence, we can actually become very aware of the somatic responses in our body, right? Which holds in and around our neck, we bloat in our bellies, we close off our bodies when we are shifting from a place of safety, which is called our green zone, down to a place of fight, flight, or chronic fight, flight, known as spinal sympathetic. If we spend too much of our time living in chronic fight, flight, or in our orange zone, then unfortunately what tends to happen to a lot of us is we shift down into the red zone, which is known as our dorsal vagal circuit, also known as freeze. If you want to know more about this and the polyvagal theory and the Be Here method and the nervous system and how you can actually learn to regulate your nervous system by tuning into what it is your body is telling you, send me an email or get in touch on my Instagram, because I run nervous system workshops online and in person all throughout the year. But right now, let's get into some yin yoga to release some tension around the shoulders, around the hips, the lower back, and also the hamstrings, the areas that can get really, really tight when we are sitting in chairs and using devices. So firstly, I've got a yoga strap. May or may not use it, we'll see how we go. You can use a belt or a dressing gown strap, is perfect. I've got a bolster behind me and a yoga block, so just get what you can. If you don't have anything at all, a cushion is totally fine. But we're going to just start our practice in a seated or kneeling position, and we are going to take some time to bring our nervous system back to safety, and that starts with our breath. So when you feel ready, just finding a seated position that serves you well. For me, this is really comfortable, but that might not be comfortable for you. And I want you to just start to recognize how you've landed. And this is by doing a simple observation. So noticing as you scan your body, moving from the top of your head down to the eyebrows, the cheeks, the nose, the jaw, then dropping down into the shoulders, the chest, the rib cage, the belly, and the hips. Is there any areas where we are still holding unnecessary tension? And just in these next 5 breaths, don't worry too much about your breathing, but I want you to see if you can just melt. Now just observing, becoming the witness, no need to judge or label what you find. Are there any emotions present? Right? In Watch Your Language, I talk very specifically on how our body lets us know when we are feeling and experiencing emotion, especially if it is an emotion that may be challenging or difficult. It's not bad or good, it just is. The body will have a somatic response to that. So notice how your body is and become aware, is there any emotions that are present that are matching what's going on in your body? For example, I'm noticing that my belly is bloated and my shoulders are up around my ears and I'm experiencing fear. So don't judge what you find, just become aware. And just simply notice and observe what your body and mind are doing without trying to fix it or change it, just let it be. When you feel ready, I'm going to invite you to place your hands in your belly. So we're going to work with a breath stimulating the vagus nerve. So cranial nerve 10, and this communicates to your nervous system that you are safe and that you are okay. So taking a big breath in and a breath out. We're all going to breathe in from the belly first. So inhale, the belly expands. Inhale, the ribs expand and go up, and then inhale right up into the chest and the lungs. Now exhale, deflate the chest and the lungs. Start to deflate the rib cage in and down, and then soften the belly. Breathe in, belly, rib cage, lungs. Breathe out, lungs, rib cage, and belly. We're going 5 more times. Inhale, belly, rib cage, lungs. And exhale, lungs, rib cage, belly. On your own, breathe in 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go through 3 more times on your own. Last inhale. And exhale. Take a moment to notice how you feel after that. Give yourself a smile and take a moment to have gratitude for taking this moment to plug yourself back in and to step away from social media and to replenish and nurture your body from the inside out. When you feel ready, we are going to come down to our mats and we're going to lie straight down and get into a hamstring stretch. Now, not everyone has a strap with a loop on it, so today we are just going to lie down and placing the dressing gown strap or whatever it is that you have around the base of the right foot. Keeping the left knee bent for now, right? Just tuning in. We're working now with our hamstring on the right. These guys get really, really tight, of course, when we sit in chairs. The hip is a ball and socket joint. So if we are consistently sitting in chairs, most of us from kindergarten, then unfortunately we're going to end up with exceptionally tight hamstrings, which is going to play a huge role in our lower back. So I'm just finding that point of tension now. I'm not forcing this, my leg is not shaking, and I'm working within the insertion point of the knee and also the glute. And I can definitely feel a stretch, but I'm not forcing anything. You'll notice my shoulders are on the ground. I'm not like reaching up like this to grab the strap. And then you're just going to soften your shoulders, your neck, your traps, and your head, and close down your eyes. I'm going to share with you an affirmation whilst you're here in these poses. Again, just a really short yin practice that you can do in your lunch break or when you get home. And these affirmations are just to take on board and let them sit within every single cell of your body. Just to give yourself permission to receive. So your affirmation is: when I take time for myself, I end up with more energy to give to self and others. When I take time for myself, I end up with more energy to give to self and to others. I'll let you know when it's time to come out of the pose. See if potentially you can keep that
breath that we practiced at the start. It doesn't have to be massive, but just notice if you can bring this breath through your body, through the belly first, then up into the ribs and then into the lungs, and then just slowly letting it go. We're going to take one more minute here. It's about 6 breaths. See if you can soften any more into the shape. Taking one more breath in and a breath out. Slowly you're going to bend that left knee and remove the strap, and we're coming to recline figure 4. Now you can always put a block underneath that left foot if you would like to, or keep it on the ground. You're more than welcome to stay here and push that right knee open with the right hand, or you're welcome to, if the space is there, either catch underneath that left hamstring or reach around and through. But we want to rest the head onto something. So if it's hanging up like this, make sure you put a blanket underneath your head. Now we're here for just over a minute in this particular pose. Can feel relatively challenging depending on, again, how much we've been sitting in our days. So when you're here, I want your affirmation to be more about the body. So your affirmation is this: when I notice my body move into tension, I allow it to soften. When I notice my body move into tension, I allow it to soften. And just let that sit with you. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. After your last exhale, slowly unravel that space And I'm just going to place both the feet on the ground and just a gentle like hip internal and external rotation here. It should feel pretty nice within the hips and the low back to do this. And of course, when you feel ready, we will take that all to the other side. So grabbing your strap, we are moving, of course, to the left side now. And always knowing that, especially with hamstrings, they can feel quite different depending on what it is we've done. So just get a feel for it first. Again, shoulders relaxed. There is no need for your trapezius and your neck to be engaged with this. And we want to slowly let that right leg expand out. Please don't worry if there's a bend into the knee. It's not about looking like anything you see on a screen or matching anybody else's pose. It's about what it feels like for you. So yin is about not forcing and just dropping into this place of effortlessness. It's not saying it's not easy, but it's about allowing yourselves to just to sit in the discomfort and to soften, to yield, to surrender. And ultimately, that's what we need to do for our nervous system. There are many moments that are going to unfold in our life and they're going to be shit and hard and challenging and difficult, but 99% of the time they're not going to kill us. And our job as humans, so that we look after our health and our digestion, being that our digestion is everything, and to stop inflammation, sickness and disease, is to recognize when our body wants to tense up, right? That's the first step of the Be Here method. I see your body, tune into the emotion that's going on, because I guarantee there's an emotion. And then ask yourself the question, is this really necessary, right? Can I possibly sit in the moment without numbing or running or trying to fix it or change it, and just let the moment be a moment? There's an incredible quote out there from Michael Singer, and it's from his new book that's out pretty soon. And he says something along the lines of, it's not the moment that's bothering you. You are choosing to be bothered by the moment. And he's absolutely spot on. So for the next 10 breaths or so, your affirmation for this particular pose is, when I surrender, I give myself permission to let it be. When I surrender, I give myself permission to let it be. It's about 8 more breaths in this pose. Don't force it, but just find that place where you feel, but there's no fight, there's no pain. It might feel a bit of discomfort, and that's totally okay. Just drop in. Last 3 breaths here. Slow transition, please bend your right knee first. That will support your low back. Remove the strap, placing left foot onto right quad. And again, depending on where your hips are at and how they feel, you might just stay right here, pushing that left knee open. You might elevate that right foot onto a block, or you might reach through, catching back of hamstring or front of shin. Relax your head, relax your arms. We're just here for a minute and a half. Your affirmation is I can choose to stay open even when it's uncomfortable. I can choose to stay open even when it's uncomfortable. So I guarantee you, closing off your heart and your body and putting yourself into a state of fight flight when the moment is just difficult is not going to help us at any point in that moment. Tension only creates more tension, and the moment we shift into a chronic state of fight flight, we are unable to be present to access new neural pathways in our brain. We can't see gratitude, we can't experience kindness, and our self-talk starts to go out the window. So our choice is to remain open, to be present when the moment is unfolding in front of us, and to become the witness and the observer of that moment, and to know that it too shall pass. 5 more breaths here. Now doing 1 more breath in, stay with the exhale. So take your time in this transition. I'm just going to roll to one side for a moment, just pause. And it's always really important to take a few moments on your side or in any form of a rebound. I know this is only a short class, but these moments are really important to let the connective tissue and the fascia reorganize themselves so we can look after the area in and around the joints. Okay, I'm going to come up and we're just again going to do a little bit of hip mobility here. This is one of my favourite ways to move the hips. So they're coming into this 90-90 position, the hands are going to go behind, and we're just going to come into this like gentle kind of 90-90 movement pattern here. So if any of you do happen to sit at a desk regularly or drive cars or trucks or whatever it might be, it's highly likely your hips aren't doing a lot of this. So I really recommend spending time in this every single day if by chance we are sitting in chairs. Alright, we are going to get into the spine and we're going to open the chest. So we're coming into Sphinx pose. This is a back bend and it's super healthy for the spine, unless of course you're pregnant or there's any other reason why you wouldn't be on your belly, then you can flop over onto your back and come into supported bridge pose. If you're not sure what that is, I have plenty of beginner yin yoga practices on my channel, so feel free to go back and to check those out. Now, traditional Sphinx is where the forearms are onto the ground, my feet are apart, and I'm supporting myself with my forearms. But today I'm going to use the bolster. You are welcome to stay there if that's what you like, and I'm going to come into baby seal. So the bolster props up underneath the chest, and the arms actually go out a little bit, creating an external rotation into the shoulder joint, which is going to, of course, open my chest a little bit more. So I'm going to keep my head up for this particular pose today. So opening the front part of the chest and the throat. If this is too intense for you, then come back down to either your forearms or resting your head onto your fists. And we're just going to stay here for probably about a couple of minutes. And just notice the compression in the lower lumbar, right? It is so healthy for our spine to do this. We're receiving nutrient-rich blood and hyaluronic acid that will be moving through the joints when we release this pose. So please just taking your time to find where you need to be, and your affirmation for this particular pose is when my heart is open, I am able to see. When my heart is open, I am able to see. And what does that actually mean? If you do your best, and myself, to keep our heart open when we are faced with difficult situations or challenges, then we understand that unless the moment is going to kill us, we actually have a choice as to how we respond or react in that moment. And that, I believe, is everything. By doing our best to stay open, we stay present, and we just take every moment for what it is. We don't make anything of it. There's no good or bad moments. And at the end of the day, everything is always unfolding perfectly. We just have to get out of the way. So drop yourself into this moment. Notice what it feels like to keep your heart open, your breath steady, your face soft, and stay curious, not critical, with the moments that unfold in front of you. You take one more minute here in this space. I invite you to take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Now slowly from here, we're just going to use and strengthen our hands and just come up to all fours. I'm going to finish this yin practice a little bit differently today, being that it's probably a lunchtime practice for most of you. We just ripple and roll your spine a little bit here, so just ironing out any areas of tension, moving through the body quite organically, letting it feel quite good. And of course, depending on where you are in your day, if you are doing this practice before bed, I'm going to invite you to lie down on your back into Shavasana. But if you are possibly on a lunch break, it might be nicer to stay seated, just to keep the body a bit more present. So I'm going to finish in a seated position with you all and just be still for about 10 breaths or so. But again, if you would prefer to be on your back, you are more than welcome. Whenever you arrive into your position of stillness, I just want you to drop into a place of gratitude. You and I have this incredible vehicle, right? This vehicle is continuing to serve us every single day that we are here in this lifetime. Our job is to listen. So right now, I want you to have utmost gratitude and appreciation for the skin that you are in, for everything your body has done for you up until this moment, and everything it will continue to do for you. It's now time to be kind. It's time to give back to it, to pause every now and then, to ask questions continually. What are you trying to tell me? When these things show up in our body, right? Our job is not to judge, to criticize it, to get frustrated with it, to blame something. Our job is to ask our body, thank you. Thank you for showing up. What is it that you're trying to tell me? How
how can I help you? Spend another 5 breaths here. In this last breath in, just breathe in the words, I am grateful. And breathe out, let go of what you do not need to carry. Place your hands to your heart space, honouring this vehicle, this body of yours, that is giving back to you in each and every single second so that you can then fill your cup to give back to others. Bring your thumbs to your prefrontal cortex, honouring this place of presence, the place where we as humans can see and ultimately know that we do have a choice. From my heart to yours, big love, light and gratitude. Namaste. I do hope that you enjoyed that short but sweet and delicious yin yoga practice. I certainly did. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about the nervous system or wanting to purchase my book, Watch Your Language, a book on how we can shift our dialogue from judgment and comparison to acceptance and self-compassion, learning about the nervous system, the brain, and how we can actually tune into this to change what can be patterns or years, right, of addictions, behaviors, and self-talk. You can check out the links below in the comments, and don't forget to give this a like and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see more of. Big love and take care.